Rupa rupa vivarjitesya bhavato dhyanena jatkulpitam Stwitya nirvachaneta akhilo giro durikritam yanmaya Vapittancha nirakritam yat tirtha yatradina Kshantavyam yagadisha Dad vikalata doshatrayam matkritam. Oh Lord, I made 3 mistakes in my life. The first mistake, I know you are formless, infinite, vast. But for the sake of my meditation, I imagined your form. My second mistake, I know that you are beyond speech. Nobody can describe you through words. But for the sake of my prayer, I glorified you. I eulogized you through my words. My third mistake, I know you are all pervading, you are everywhere. But for the sake of my pilgrimage, I travel various places to see you. Oh Lord, please forgive my these mistakes and guide me to the right path of blessedness. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, peace, peace be unto all. This morning our subject is Stories of Vedanta Monks, Part 16. As you know, it is a series of talk based on my meetings with the various senior monks of the Ramakrishna order. Every day when I go for walk, I see the construction workers of Washington University returning from their work to pick up their cars and the trucks which are on in front of our ashrama on both sides of the Skinkar. Seeing them, I really feel terribly tired. They work 6 days a week, sometimes 7 days. They work through rain, through 0-degree temperature. When they return, I see their dirty pants, yellow vest, a lunch bag and a water bottle in their hands. I watch their wearisome steps. They need rest. Where do they get rest? At home. Perhaps their wives are cooking food for their husbands, children. When I walk, I visualize their routine. When they go home, they change their clothes, they take shower. Their wives serve food, dinner to their husbands. He talks to his wife, his children. He forgets all his tiredness. Why? What is the source? Love. He loves his wife and children for the reason working from 6 o'clock to 5 o'clock through rains and the cold. They get rest. Next day again they come and do the same job. Rest. Extremely important in this rest. Same thing in spiritual life. In our spiritual journey, sometimes or many times we need rest. Where shall we get rest? From the holy people. When Swami Vivekananda met Sri Ramakrishna first time, he sang a song. Man chalo nije niketane, samsara videshe videshi raveshe, brahmo kano akarone. It is a long song. সাধু সঙ্গ নামে আছে পান্থধাম, শান্ত হলে তথা করিও বিশ্রাম, পথভ্রান্ত হলে সুধাইও পথ সে পান্থ নিবাসী জনে, মন চলো নিজ নিকেতনে. Let us go back once more, O mind, to our own abode. Here in this foreign land of earth, why should we wander aimlessly in a stranger's guise? Companionship with holy men will be for you a welcome rest house for the road, by the road. There rest your weary limbs a while, asking your way, if ever you should be in doubt of him who watches them, there watches there. Very beautiful song. During your spiritual journey, when you get tired, we sometimes experience it. We feel sometimes dryness, dullness. Sometimes we feel dark night of the soul in the spiritual journey. At that time we need somebody to help. We need rest. When Rumarula wrote Sri Ramakrishna's life, in the very beginning, he quoted from the Bible of Humanity, written by Michelet, the great famous French writer. Ruler writes, man must rest, get his breath, refresh himself at the great living wells which keep the freshness of the eternal. A beautiful sentence. Freshness of the eternal. Sometimes we need our battery. We say, what do? Your iPhone or your iPad, iPod, you constantly charge with electricity. Otherwise it goes down and down and down. If you constantly use those instruments. Same thing in spiritual life. We need rest. We need to recharge our batteries. That is the reason we go to a holy place, we go to a holy man. I sometimes tell our people, you people are lucky, at least 3 times you can come here. Tuesdays, Thursdays and Sundays. Let me tell you from our experiences, sometimes we used to get confused. When you read too many books or you get too many instructions from different people, at that time we used to go to a person who could guide us. You see, there are some monks I shall be going to tell you. They are both Pundit and Tapushi. Some monks are great intellectuals. Some monks are great workers. And some monks are great ascetic. But we met some monks who are both ascetic and the intellectual and the worker. They are really spiritual dynamo. You can really get help from them. You will not have to do anything, just sit near him. Your mind will go up. Once it happened, once a man was trying to test Swami Brahmananda, the spiritual son of Sri Ramakrishna. He went and was thinking, I shall think a very bad thought in front of Swami Brahmananda. So he went there, Maharaj did not know, he just mentally decided. So he was trying to raise a very bad, dirty thought. Then after 5 or 7 minutes, Maharaj looked at him and said, Ki, could you succeed? Could you succeed to raise a bad thought in your mind? No, he couldn't. Do you know what happens? They create such a spiritual atmosphere, your mind will be choked. As Sri Ramakrishna says, you like it or don't like it. If you go to a perfume shop, that beautiful fragrance will penetrate inside your nose. You couldn't stop it. Sometimes you have seen them here, dealers or what is called the Macy, that perfume, they will spray perfume on your hand and smell and then you buy, So this perfume penetrates in the nostrils without any effort. Same thing. When you go and stand near the ocean, the gentle breeze of the ocean will soothe your system, your body. You cannot stop it. It is very normal, natural thing. Same thing, if you go to a real spiritual person, you will feel the same way. So, now we shall start. Swamis Saradeshananda, many times I think I talked about him to you. He was born in 1894, passed away in 1988. He was a disciple of Holy Mother and served the Mother in Jairambati for many years. I first heard about him in 1960. I never met him at that time. In Advaita Ashrama, we have a routine that in the morning, half-an-hour class on the Vedanta. And in the evening, after supper, 15 minutes reading. The new book which was published, that one should read. Generally, the newcomer, a new brahmachari, would read, and all monks would listen. So, Swami Saradeshananda's Sri Sri Chaitanya Deva, the life of Chaitanya, was published. I think one brahmachari was a reader, and he read a lesson that really penetrates inside me. I memorized it. Chaitanya gave a spiritual instruction to his disciple, Raghunath Goswami, in 4 lines. Gramma barta na kohibe, gramma katha na shunibe, bhalo na khaibe ar bhalo na poribe, amani manot Krishna naam sada labe, ar broje Radha Krishna seva manasya koribe. I memorized it in 1960, nearly 58 years ago. What does it mean? Don't talk about worldly things. Don't listen to worldly things. Don't seek good food, good clothing. He was coming from a very rich family. Always be humble. And always chant God's name. Stay in a holy place and worship God. This is enough for you. Chaitanya told that young man. So in 1977, at that time I was in Hollywood, I first visited India and went to Vrindavan. This Swami was then retired and living that holy place. He was really a remarkable monk. How do you judge a monk? Pavitra, premik, pandit. Pure, loving, scholarly, full of renunciation. This is the way we evaluate a monk. So I went to his room and I was watching what he had. If you go to my room, you will see thousands of books. Anyhow, I saw it a wooden plank Vrindavan, very austere, cold place. A wooden plank one blanket, 2-3 fold, over that a sheet, near the bed a few books, and there is a small pillow, a towel on the pillow, and near the head there is a small table fan. There is in the corner of the room there is one stick and one umbrella, one pair of sandals, 2 or 3 clothes hanging near on the wall. There is a picture of Holy Mother and Sri Ramakrishna, and one earthen jug of water in the corner of his room, and a big bowl. That was his all belongings. You know, I was thinking about Gandhi's legacy. When Gandhi passed away, what did they found in his room? One pair of wooden sandal, one pair of leather sandal, one pocket watch, one knife opening for his envelopes, letters, one pigdani, one sputum, that's where you, one pair of glasses, one Gita, and 3 images of monkeys. See no evil, hear no evil, speak not evil. These 3 was in Gandhi's room. That is Gandhi's legacy. So I saw this man's also full of renunciation. I remember we used to come to dining hall with his bowl. In the corner, he had his own seat, and we used to sit all on the same line. And the server will give rice, dal, vegetables, and he will squeeze it and then eat it. He did not have he did not have teeth at that time. 1 or 2 teeth are there. So the night I went, one of the brahmacharis said, will there be any class tonight? The Swami said, you did not ask, will there be any dinner tonight? There will be a class. You must follow the ashrama routine. You know, I am a great believer of routine. If you practice day in, day out, they will be a second nature and they will form and shape your character. It is very, very important to transform yourself. Then Maharaj was asking, what do you do in America? And then I told my routine in Hollywood. Well, we have 3 times meditation, morning, noon, and evening. Our 2 classes, 1 lecture. Then I told our routine. That when in America we do not have any servants and cooks. The monks had to do all kinds of household work as well as the spiritual disciplines. Then Maharaj was saying, you teach Vedanta, that is fine, but do you know what? They should learn Garhastha Dharma, how to be good householder. There are so many divorces in America, I hear. And the children from the broken home are so miserable. So please teach them how to be an ideal householder. I was thinking, here is a monk in Vrindavan thinking about the American people. 14th September 1977, Vrindavan. I had a long talk about the activities of the Ramakrishna order. And he was talking about Karma Yoga. One day Swami Shivananda asked a monk to go somewhere for some work. He was telling Maharaj, I have come here to realize God, not to work. Swami Mahapurush Shivananda was a little upset. He told that monk, it is Swami Vivekananda who told us, doing Sri Ramakrishna's work, your mind will be purified. And then that purified mind will bring liberation. Swamiji could not cheat us. Swamiji told us what is good for us. Then he said, if you really want to realize God, you need faith and you must surrender to Him. Selfishness is bondage. Self-protection is necessary. But in spiritual life, daily practice is very, very important. That he told us. Then he told, do you know what is necessary to build a good spiritual monastic life? 3 things are necessary. First, charitra, character. How will you build your character? Through jama and niyama. Jama means non-violence, truthfulness, then non-stealing, brahmacharya, and non-receiving goods. And niyama, cleanliness, contentment, austerity, study, and devotion to God. These 10 virtues, if you practice, that will build your character. Second, vishwasa bhakti, faith and devotion, love for God, that you will have to cultivate. But only faith and love are not enough. You will have to execute it. You will have to experiment it in your day-to-day life. That is called parartha parata, service to God, service to human beings. That will destroy your selfishness. Then at night he told me another thing. Do you know what 2 main things are necessary? In this age, Sri Ramakrishna came to demonstrate ideal spiritual life, which will do good to humanity, which will take away this kind of disharmony and evil tendencies among people and fight among the religious groups. And second, Sri Ramakrishna wanted to establish the Garastha Dharma. Meaning, the householder's life must be strong. You see, the whole society will be shaky if householder's life is shaky. There are 4 stations of life: brahmacharya, student's life. They do not control the society. Students, then come householder's life, then retired life, and then monastic life. This householder's life are very, very important, that he was talking about. Grihastho brahmanishta syat, it is in the Mahanirban Tantra. A householder's life must be based on spirituality. You see, political system, shaky. Economic system, shaky. But the spiritual system does not shake. That is the way it works. Your spiritual things will bring anchor, will make you unshaky, steady. That is vital in life. Otherwise, life is continuously fluctuating. That he talked about it. After breakfast, the Swami would go after his bath, he would go to the temple. 2-3 hours he would meditate and pray and read. I took some pictures when he was seated in front of Sri Ramakrishna's temple in Vrindavan. He would take one umbrella, very hot in summer. And he would go with a bundle in his armpit. In that bundle there are prayers of all religions he collected. Hinduism, Christianity, Judaism, Islam, all religions, all their prayers he used to recite in front of Sri Ramakrishna. Very, very unusual monks, I tell you frankly. It is very normal, natural for him to practice spiritual discipline 3-4 hours. We sit 1 hour and we feel, All aches and pain at that time appear. Very unusual monk, full of renunciation and purity. No show business. One day I asked Maharaj, do you see the future of our order? He smiled. I believe in Sri Ramakrishna. This order belongs to the Master. You will not have to worry about it. He will guide what is good. He will take us to the right direction. His room was very small. Then in 1986, I visited from St. Louis and stayed in Vrindavan from September 17 to 20th. Then he moved to the new monks' quarters. He has 2 attendants. I was very free with him. He was very hot, bare body, lying down on his bed. I go, Maharaj, seeing your chest, I think that you are a 20 years old young man. He smiled. Then I saw his attendant just pulling his fingers. His fingers are always like this. Do you know why? Repeating the rosary, mantra, hours after hours. Even fingers, hand has become like this. Same thing is knees. I saw his attendant just pulling the knees to make it straighten. Then he says, I ruined my body practicing spiritual disciplines. Hours, if you see cross-legged, it becomes stiff. Seldom I have not seen another person like him. Then I asked him, Maharaj, what speciality? You are a mother's disciple, lived with her. What speciality we saw in her? Nirabhiman. She was egoless. All these human beings have egos. God has no ego. Holy Mother was Divine Mother herself, no ego. That I saw in her. Uncle, tell me, Maharaj, what did you see? How did you worship? How did you meditate? Well, time to time I saw her meditating and merged into samadhi. I saw her. Then he told me a story that he wrote detailed reminiscences of Holy Mother and gave to his friend to read it. And then he went for tapasya in Uttarkashi and Rishikesh. When he came back and asked his notebook, that friend said it is lost. He was a little upset, broken-hearted, but he said, perhaps it is the mother's wish, I lost it. Then again through meditation, he wrote Sisya Maya Rupadesh, this much. English translation is available. Many important incidents, episodes of that book I put into our book, that Sri Sharada Devi and Divine Play. Because these eyewitnesses accounts are very important to me. I saw, I heard. That is more important than indirect narration that I got from him. His attendant, Anup Shuklatmananda, he recorded some of these things and shared his diary to me. So at night time I used to copy from his diary in my diary. He says during 1947, when India was divided, India and Pakistan, there was a heavy riot in Noakhali in Bangladesh, East Bengal. Mahatma Gandhi went there to stop that riot. So what happened? The Hindu-Muslim riot. He went there for relief, met Mahatma Gandhi. Gandhi asked him, Swami, is it possible for you to come every day at noon, afternoon, in the late afternoon, late noon, early afternoon, to read the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna in Bengali to me? So he used to go to Mahatma Gandhi and read the Bengali Gospel of Ramakrishna. So one day he went and his secretary said, Gandhiji is busy today, no reading. So he came back. Next day when he went, Gandhiji asked, why did you not come yesterday? Well, Gandhiji, your secretary asked me there will be no reading today. That is the reason I left. My goodness, is it less important, the Gospel of Ramakrishna? Well, I felt Mahatma Gandhi's love for Sri Ramakrishna. He talked about the devotees practice japa and meditation every day, read the Gospel of Ramakrishna or the scriptures, do all of your household duties. Then he talked about Hinduism. This Hinduism is very strong. Why? First, Sadhu Mahatma. There are so many holy people and saints all over India. Second, Utsav, festivals. The Hindus have so many festivals than any other religions in the world. Third, Tirthasthan, holy places in India. There are so many holy places all over India. He says, these are the three poles, strong poles of the Hindu eternal Shanatanan Dharma, Hindu Dharma. And what are the few things of the religious life? To believe the Atma, consciousness, which is beyond the body, mind and senses. Then, doctrine of karma, sukh, dukkha, happiness, misery are inevitable. They come due to our karma. Third, karma phala data, God exists, who dispenses the results of our action. I used to send some money to him for his personal expenses. He would not take any money from anybody. Money will go to the center and center will look after him. He mentioned very new ideas that during the churning of the ocean, they wanted nectar. Then came the poison. It is Shiva who drank that poison and kept in his throat. For that reason, Shiva is called Nilkantha, the blue-throated one. Similarly, in this Kali Yuga, there was so much worldliness, Jadavad, hedonism. Sri Ramakrishna churned it, and whatever poison came, that poison he took, and that is the reason he had cancer in his throat. That is his study. He told his attendant. One American couple one day asked him, Maharaj, have you seen God? Or have you ever? Well, I have never desired to see God. But this much I can tell you, I experienced it. I experienced God. Then he asked those devotees, please go. Then he was very, after saying this, he has a tremendous awakening inside. He was telling that maybe Kundalini awakening, but there is so much pressure in my chest, I must lie down, fan me. He was telling, his attendant told me this story. He told two stories. One was Swami Turiyananda was going for practicing austerity, and Swami Kalyananda in Kankhal put a coin in his pocket. So he left and then he saw some coin. Again he came back and said, why did you give a guinea, a gold coin? Why did you give the money? I want to depend wholly on God without taking any money. So he came back, returned and left. He said, what a wonderful teaching we got from him. And then he told, Asane sadhu bibore sap. Asan means seat, where we meditate, the cushion, and the hole of a snake. When the snake is in the hole, it has a tremendous power. You cannot kill the snake. It goes zigzag, it goes somewhere, you cannot find the snake. But when the snake comes out from the hole, you can kill the snake. Similarly, so the hole is the strength of the snake. Similarly, a monk or a spiritual seeker or a devotee, his asana is his strength. That asana habits protects him from Maya. That he told. Next Swami I shall start. I do not know whether I shall be able to finish him. Swami Bodhatmananda from 1900 to 1974. He was a disciple of Swami Shivananda, joined the Ramakrishna Order in 1924, sannyas in 1929. In 1956, he became the principal of the Belur Math Monks Training Center, and he passed away 28 July 1974. It is extremely difficult to train a monk. Why? If you are not a genuine monk, you cannot teach the monk. The monks are very souls. They will not bow down to you until they see whatever you teach, that you practice. That is called acharya. If they are watching you 24 hours, you will have to be perfect. There is no other way. Very difficult to train monks. You must be, as I already said, that you will be very pure, you will be very scholarly, you will have to be loving, you should have full of renunciation, you full of devotion, God, you must be just a role model. I knew the Swami from 1959 to 1974, and 1964-65 I lived with him in the training center. He told me many of his life's stories. That when I first came, one of my friends told me, I shall show you a real monk. And I met Swami Brahmananda. Then Brahmananda died in 1922. I joined in 1923. Then I went to see M, the recorder of the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. I saw a beard, an elderly man. I have come to see M. Sit down, you will see him. Then he said, Sadhu is at his best when he meditates and becomes one with God. He had so much respect for the monks. Then I asked Maharaj, could you tell us that how can we merge in deep meditation and forgetting the body, mind and surroundings? He said, the thing which you are asking of that monk, 40 years in the monastery, he is seeking the same thing, practice and the struggle. Then he told me, he quoted from Swami Vivekananda's Jnana Yoga. I shall never forget that passage. Stand on your own feet. Take the responsibility on your own shoulder. Gatasya shochana nasti. Let be gone, be bygone. Whatever wrong things you did, they are trying to jump on you like hungry tigers. And whatever you good things you did in your life, they are also trying to protect you. That he quoted from Swamiji's Jnana Yoga. Then 28th February 1960, this is the entry of my diaries. That day I joined. Then I went to bow down to him. He said, many are called, but few are chosen. Now you dedicate yourself to Sri Ramakrishna. Do his work and think of him. Then he told me that when I was a brahmachari in Devghar, in Bihar, Swami Shivananda was there. He gave initiation to a person. At night time he has terrible pain and suffering. Sometimes these people, great souls, they absorb the sins of the bad people. And he was about to die. So he was struggling. Then all of a sudden he thought, I am the Atman. I am neither the body nor the mind senses. Then pain disappeared. The next morning when the monks came to see Mahapurush Maharaj, he told his experience of last night. He said, this thing happened. I am the Atman. I am neither the body nor the mind senses. Then he asked the monks, do you know what should be the attitude toward action? Then he said, do you know what should be the attitude? The Swami said, privilege. It is a privilege that I got a chance to work for Sri Ramakrishna. You are right. Privilege, privilege, privilege. Sometimes here people come, I ask them to give some service. It is a privilege that Sri Ramakrishna is using your body, your mind. He does not take action and service from everybody. No way. Then he gave me a good lesson that look, don't keep in touch with the families in the very beginning of your life. Otherwise their pain, suffering will disturb your meditation, your spiritual life. In that connection, he told me a story that there are 2 ponds, one pond near the Ganges, another pond is far away. Same depth of the pond. During summer, both ponds are dried out. The pond which is far away from the Ganges, dry, cracked, the bottom. And in the pond near the Ganges, soggy. A little bit water is there, but means attachment. You will never be able to advance in spiritual life. You have attachment in your past. He gave a very good lesson. Then he told me a story. I use the monks, they always sometimes hear so many stories. But I heard from Ram Maharaj, there was a brahmachari. He came to Belur Math, Swami Vivekananda had a goat. And he was trying to milk that goat. Then Swamiji told, hey, Jambal, lift the legs of the goat up so that I can milk it. So he raised it up and Swamiji milked. Then he said, I told you, Jambal, did you mind? Listen, Nam Roop Mitha. I gave a little scolding to you. That is all Mitha. It is not real. He told many, many stories about. One story he told that when he was in Vrindavan, Swami Jagodananda used to give classes in the evening. So at that time he used to meditate in the next room. So he told the Swami, Swami, that is my meditation time, you give classes. He disturbed me. My goodness, you did not tell me. Me be a monk, I shall disturb anybody's meditation. I shall give classes somewhere else. Then he told me that he went to Swami Saradeshananda with an urgent letter from Belur Math. Saradeshananda used to live in Calcutta, in Udbodhan. But I said, Maharaj, this is a very urgent letter for you. He was smoking his hubble bubble, a pipe. Then he took his knife, scissors, cut the letter, he read it, put it in the envelope, put it there, again took the hubble bubble and smoked. But I saw, do you know what I learned? These people always keep their minds in God. And from there they bring the mind to the world, do the work, again they go back to God. That I learned from him. That is a special way if you know how to live in God. Then I remember when I was initiated, I had no money. So one of my brahmachari monk friends collected 2 rupees from some devotees and gave to me. Our ashrama money cannot be spent for the rituals, Advaita ashrama money. So I had 2 rupees, 1 rupee, 8 annas I bought some sweets and 8 annas I bought some fruits. Flowers I got from the monastery. And 1 rupee, Dakshina. So do you know what happened? After initiation, I went to him and bowed down. He asked me, did you give Dakshina to your guru? Yes, I did. No. Yes, I did. No, you did not give Dakshina. Then he said, do you know what is real Dakshina? Today your guru put the mantra, the seed in your heart. That seed will sprout. It will be a plant, a tree. Then there will be flower. Then there will be fruit. And when you will get that fruit and give to your guru, that means God realization. That is real Guru Dakshina. The way he used to teach us, some new things we used to learn from him. Then he says, you know, there are 3 types of monk. Tele bhaja, ghee bhaja, or ghee bhaja, chini rasa jovano. Tele bhaja means fried in oil, which is very cheap. Cheap, tele bhaja, oil fried. And ghee bhaja, tele bhaja means, you know, ordinary monks, you know, they are ochre cloth and always seeking some good food, good clothes, and some comforts. And ghee bhaja means they are indrawn, they are well versed in the scriptures, practice spiritual disciplines. And ghee bhaja chinidasana, they are shastragya and sadhu. They know the scriptures and they are deeply saturated with the spirituality. That means Jnana Mishra Bhakti. Just like jalebi, fried in ghee and soaked into syrup. That becomes more tasty than the ordinary fried things, you see. That's why he said, now there are 3 groups of monks, now you decide in which group will you go. Then I asked Maharaj, could you tell me that how can we establish relationship with God? We really want to establish relationship with God. Then he told, you know, that question, I think somebody or he asked to M. And M said, Oi tor bar, oi tor ghar. That man is your husband and his house is your house. In that connection, he told this story. In India, generally marriages are arranged marriage. The girl never met the boy, husband. So only the marriage time they see each other. And then after the marriage, the girl goes to her husband's home. Try to think of that. 20 years or 22 years you lived with your parents, and now you are going with a stranger. You do not know that person at all. Then she cries and holds her mother and says, I do not want to go to that man, I want to stay with you. Oh, no. Oitor bar, oitor God. That man is your husband, and that person, his house is your real house. Then he hugs her father also and cries, and all relatives, and they console her, and then she goes to her husband's home. After 2-3 children, she established her family there. Then her father writes that your mother is not well, could you come and see her? She writes a long letter with all excuses. I cannot come, who will cook for your son-in-law, my 2 children, they are going to school. She gives all excuses that I cannot come. Look, this girl did not want to go, and now she does not want to come back. That way, M said, that is the way if you can establish relationship with God, you will never come back. That's a beautiful story he told us. Then he told another story of M. A man came and every evening at M's school building in the upstairs, there's a big roof. Their old devotees would come after work. Until 10 o'clock, M used to talk to them and meditate with them. So one person came and said, Sangsare bodo jala. There is so much burning, pain, suffering in family life. Then M was asking other people, did you hear? This man says there is too much burning, suffering in the family life. Did you hear? This man says. Did you hear? This man says. In this way he talked with all these people. Then he said, whole night you are drinking bottle after bottle. Will you not get drunk in the morning? Whole day you are drinking this worldliness. Will you not get drunk with worldliness? Burning? The way M used to talk, and it would penetrate into the minds of the listeners, the devotees. When 2 years when I was in Belur Math, I made a vow that without seeing Sri Ramakrishna's face, I shall not see anybody's face. Always remember, in summertime, Mangalarati at 4 o'clock. In winter time, 4:30. So, rain, cold, I must go. Open the door. The servants used to open the door, we used to go. And Bodhatmananda ji also used to come to attend the Mangalarati. After seeing Thakur's face, that's all. Only 3-4 days I missed when I had fever. I was transferred to another building. I could not go. Then I asked, Maharaj, could you tell me the secret of your meditation? Well, before I meditate, I read 4 verses of the Crest Jewel of Discrimination, Bibi Kuchudamani, that cut all the daily thoughts from my mind, so that I can get easy connection with my chosen deity. You see, those who practice a spiritual discipline, they will tell you the secret, how to cut these worldly thoughts, worldly maya. I remember one day, he used to give 2 classes on Vedanta Shara, Quintessence of Vedanta, and Shanko Karika. I remember one day he was preparing his class. So he was not well, he had diabetes, high blood pressure. I took away glasses from his head and I said, I won't let you read. You were teaching Vedanta 40 years, still you need preparation? He said, give my glasses. I go, no. Then he said, you know, the thing I teach, I really know it. He was a Sharadarshani Pandit. He knows 6 types of philosophy. Teaching Vedanta 40 years. Then he said, but you see, before I give class, I prepare, I think about those things, and I get new thoughts, new ideas, it flashes in my mind. So I can give classes and can inspire you. Then he told me that a real teacher should not have superficial knowledge. Otherwise your poverty will be detected by the students. Never go to any class or lectures without preparation. So I follow. That is the reason you can see notes in front of me. I may not see it, but it is his instruction. You must go with full conviction. Otherwise they will think that you do not know. You know, when you are in college, you know who is the best professor. Our Pandit Mashai, he had 9 PhDs. 9 PhDs. So he was a brahmachari at that time. He said that Bodhatmananda ji is such a spiritual person, he will go to Brahmaloka. So I went to him and said, Maharaj, you will not have to practice any more spiritual disciplines, you will go to Brahmaloka. But who told you? I said, Pandit Mashai. Pandit. Acha, Then you go to Punjit and ask him that in which loka he is going. In which loka he is going, you just go and ask him. One day we had a debate about Shankara and Buddha. Then he explained. A boat left the harbor and went into deep sea. In that boat, Shankara was there, Buddha was there. So Buddha looked upward and said, Sarvam Shunyam Shunyam. Everything is void. And Shankara looked downward and saw the ocean and expressed Sarvam Purnam Purnam. Everything is full. They are in the same boat, in the same place, same experience. One saw the negative side, one saw the positive side. That is the difference between Nirvana and Mukti. You know, these great scholars, they know all these differences, how to explain. That's a beautiful way to understand. Half full, one glass of water you can see half full, you can see half empty. It is up to you which one you will see. Then one day he was making a joke. He was telling, you know, all these householders, they read the Bhagavatam, Bhakti, Krishna's stories. And all the monks read the Yoga-Vasishtha Ramayana. Do you know what is the quintessence of the Bhagavatam? Krishna said to Uddhava, renounce everything and go to Badarika Ashrama. That householders read. And the monks read Yoga-Vasishtha Ramayana. What is the quintessence of Yoga-Vasishtha Ramayana? Vasishtha says Rama, now Rama, get married and have family life. Monks read Yoga-Vasishtha Ramayana, they go get married and have a good family life. And then the devotees read Bhagavatam, now you renounce, go to Badarika Ashrama. It was so funny sometimes in the class, we had so much fun. I remember one day, each brahmachari must have a, in the garden, we have gardening, so everybody has a plot of land. So I had a plot of land, I planted some marigold. And do you know what happened? Next morning I went, I saw my whole garden was cleared. Some chipmunks, some squirrels ate all the beautiful, tender marigold. So I was very upset. Then I told Maharaj, I am very sad and depressed. What happened, Uncle? This happened. Oh, you are barking like a dog. Uncle, why? There was a room, the whole walls full of mirrors. So a dog entered there and saw its own reflection and gew. So each direction the dog sees and sees his own reflections and says gew. In the Vedanta class you read that everything is Brahman and the squirrel and the chipmunks, they are also Brahman. So why are you barking? Uncle, that is a very difficult Vedanta, Maharaj. Then one day I said, Maharaj, in the Chandogya Upanishad there is a mantra called Acharyavan Purusho Veda. The person who was a teacher, he knows. That I told him. I was doing the gardening work and he was going for a walk. Then he said, what did you say? Acharyavan Purusha Veda. That means you know Brahman. Then he said, do you know what? A knower of Brahman should be saluted from the east, west, south, north. It is in the Upanishad. So he started to rotate and bow down to me from all directions. I was embarrassed. This story I shall never forget. I maybe take a little bit more time today. Anyhow, in the dining table, in the dining hall, the Swami, one old Swami, was a secretary of Swami Shivananda, Swami Gangeshanandaji. He said something about some brahmacharis. The Maharaj was very upset. don't think these brahmacharis are orphans. I mean, he was our father, caretaker, So he raised his voice, and people, it's very uncommon for him to talk to another senior Swami like this. So next morning I saw him going to that old monk's room and knocked at his door. So Swami Gangeshanandaji came out and said, "Brother, what is the matter?" He fell at his speech and said, "Maharaj, yesterday I made a mistake. I lost my temper. Please forgive me." Then the senior Swami embraced him and hugged him and said, "Forget it, those little things. Maharaj, do you know what happened? Last night I could not meditate. This morning I could not meditate. It is disturbing my meditation. So if you forgive me, then I shall get meditation." He told me, if anything happens in your life, try to settle that very moment or that very day or within 3 days. Do not disturb your meditation. I learned that how to fix it. Your meditation is very, very vital. Mental peace and calmness. Wonderful life. I remember every 2 years there is a convocation. So Swami gave a convocation talk. Listen, I am going to tell you something. Vidya Chatushpad, learning, has 4 quarters. 1/4 comes from the student. 1/4 comes from the co-students. Through discussion, they clear it. 1/4 comes from the teacher. And 1/4 comes in the course of time. So don't expect more than 1/4 from me. That's a beautiful message. In 1966, I was with him for a week in Purulia Ashrama, and there he talked about spiritual life and about Durga Puja. When I came to Hollywood, sometimes if I had any questions about grammar, about philosophy, I used to write to him and he would answer. One day somebody asked him, "Maharaj, perhaps in monastic life we are here. What is the goal? What is these things? Do you have any experience?" He said, "Do you think that last 40 years I stayed in the monastery and cut the grasses for the cows? That means I achieved something in my life. Ramakrishna monks will not tell you, I have realized God, this and that." No. You just watch their lives, then you will understand that what they are. I remember one person came to Swami Madhavanandaji, "Maharaj, have you seen God?" Maharaj looked at him and said, "I am not Vivekananda and you are not Ramakrishna. Go." Anyhow, I really learned many things from these old sadhus. As I always said, everything is not in the books. They are really precious. They are a spiritual dynamo. If you live with them, your battery will be charged. You will be inspired. Thank you. Tumiva mata cha pita tumiva tumiva bandhusya sakha tumiva vidya drabinam tumiva vidyam sarvam mama deva deva. Thou art my mother, thou art my father, thou art my friend, thou art my companion, thou art my wealth, thou art my learning, thou art my all in all, O Lord. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace, 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 people.